Welcome to Look Around Florida. Hey, Linda, how you doing tonight? I hope you're doing well. Uh, get this out of the way because most of you know me well enough. Anything and everything can fly out of my mouth at a moment's notice. Even though I got our Florida Division Commander behind the scenes, this way it keeps me and him out of the doghouse so we don't get phone calls from higher ups. Hey, Roddy, good to see you, buddy. All right, we got 10 people watching, so quite a bit of people are looking forward to what Calvin have to say. We have two events coming up this month. Hey, Bob. Yeah, I was playing around with this earlier. Now I can't find it. All right, we have this event coming up Saturday, May the 24th, the CSS Chattahoochee Mass Grave Memorial Service at 11 a.m. Location 14 Main Street, Chattahoochee, Florida. Guest speaker is Miller County historian Jack Overt, author and minister captain of the CSS Chattahoochee Camp, Georgia Division. Uh, I'm gonna do, I already told the members of that camp I'm gonna do my best to make it to this event. And we got this event coming up this Saturday. It's the W.H. Rollerson Camp 2080 SCV invites you to the charter party celebration. The reactivation of the camp Saturday, May the 17th at 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. First Methodist Church, 200 Northwest 2nd Street, Okeechobee, Florida. Uh, this I have been invited to go live at this event this Saturday. So I will be there, and depending on my internet with my phone, I'm either going to go live through StreamYard, that way it's Facebook or YouTube, or I'm just going to go live on Facebook at that event. Because I know some of you want to be there and not able to travel that far yet. Hey, Victor. Hey, Annette. Hey, Roy, Jeffro, DeLynn. Oh, cool, Roy. If anybody's going to the charter celebration and want to do cameos, pretty much say, welcome to Look Around Florida, hit me up. I will be there with my phone. So we got cool events coming up. We have the Florida Division reunion coming up very soon. Believe it's the first weekend in June. Then after that, we have the Florida. We have the Sons of Confederate Veteran Mechanized Cavalry annual there in Traverse, Florida, coming up late June. Also, Lieutenant Ronnie Nichols said, "Get your registration in so he can start playing, ordering T-shirts and all that stuff." Cool. There you guys go. Clement Lindsay and all those guys will be looking forward to seeing Roy Hudson. He's going to be in the house in Trenton. Cool, Roy. Already, let's bring our division commander up, Calvin Hart.
Hey, how y'all doing? Thanks, Sean. A couple of things I'm going over here, just kind of Florida Division. The Florida Division, each division has to turn in a report to the book of reports. So the division commander writes a report. It's verified, proofread by the adjutant, and we send it in to national. It's published. If you ever go to national, you'll get what they call the book of reports. It'll have budgets in that booklet. It'll also have every state in there will write a book, write a section for their report. And this is the report for the Florida Division. I'll read it to you. The Florida Division's division-wide recruitment grant program to support the recruiting efforts by individual camps is in its third year. Camp participation continues to grow every year. Some of the supported programs include camp recruitment banners and material to educate the public, which continue to have a successful result. One of the most successful programs financed through this grant program is the Look Around Florida podcast, which, if you're seeing it, the division supports it, and the grant goes towards making sure that the fees that are associated with the podcast are paid because, as far as the podcast goes, this is a valuable tool to the Florida division. It goes on to say the podcast, which is a weekly podcast it updates on Florida division activities. Florida Division continues to maintain a division-only Facebook page. The only individuals allowed membership are current Florida Division members. The membership screening process is rigid, and the site is monitored closely while allowing the membership to post activities and events that are important to the membership. It's also a communication tool enabling the Florida Executive Board to post and inform the membership of current issues and needs. As far as the Facebook goes, uh, if you are not a member of that, but yet a member of the Florida Division, just go request, put in a request to join, and Rick will look you up and verify. That's our responsibility to verify that that individual is a Florida Division member. Sometimes, like today, it'll come in with a request by a member for another individual to join the Florida Division Facebook page. Those are just automatically denied. The individual needs to put in that request themselves. Also, if you have family, friends, they should not be a member of the Florida Division website. It's just for Florida Division members. All right, I'll continue. Florida Camp sponsored recruiting efforts at several Florida reenactments. I have Old Lusty. I know Natural Bridge was one of the ones, just to name a few. Lee Jackson dinners were held throughout the state by several camps celebrating our true Southern heroes. CIC Donnie Kennedy was a keynote speaker at several of these dinners. Other camps participated in local events such as parades, local festivals, county fairs in order to get the Sons of Confederate Veterans brand in front of the public in a positive light. I know several did county fairs. We do the Clay County Fair down here. We take the Hunley, fire the cannon, and we usually get a pretty good response. And we usually get some good members out of it because the Clay County Fair, which is on the outskirts of Jacksonville, it's more rural, and those individuals in the rural county seem to be more acceptable to us. It's always a good time. They always thank us for being there. I suggest if you got a county fair near you, it is a recruitment possibility. If you invest in it, you'll see rewards out of it. The Florida Division is proud to continue its ongoing tradition of contributing to the community in Florida's hurricane restoration efforts. This year, we made donations to the Samaritan's Purse and the Hope Haven Children's Home and the Children's Home Society. We've seen the life-changing power of their programs firsthand. Furthering the good they do is a point of pride for our division. For those familiar with the Samaritan Purse, that's a good organization. They're boots on the ground at any disaster. We stipulated that the money that the division donated to them would only be used for restoration and help in Florida, in the state of Florida, which they gladly did. The Hope Haven Children's Home is just that, it's a children's home. And the Children's Home Society is another, adoption children's home where children that are abused, neglected, hopefully find families. So that's three good organizations that the Florida Division supported this year. Florida awarded 47 Hunley medals to deserving cadets within the state of Florida's ROTC program. Kirby Smith Camp shipped 30 Hunley medals to the Tennessee Division because they chose our design over the past Hunley medal design. Our debt to those heroic men and the crew of the Hunley can never be repaid. They have earned our undying gratitude, and the Florida Division will never forget their sacrifices. if you're not giving a Hunley medal away, it's not a hard thing to do. We actually, we started out with, I think, because we took over the program, we've been the Hunley sponsor, state sponsor. Uh, we redesigned the medal because the old medal actually had a muddled image of the Hunley, and on the back was the SCV logo. Now, the thing with the SCV logo, if you're not an SCV member, you should not be wearing an item with the SCV logo on it. So we redesigned the medal. For those who hadn't seen it, I mean, we bring it to the division reunion. It's got a good image of the Hunley on the front, and on the back of it has the crew of the Hunley names listed, and also it does say SCV, Sons of Confederate Veterans, on the back. We probably, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and I asked Rick, I think we had like 300 of those medals minted. And like I said, I have none. We completely sold out. We actually shipped some. I didn't have it listed here. One of the Texas div- divisions or brigades liked the medal, and they picked up a few. So we've been trying to support the Hunley efforts, not only in our state but other states. If you haven't given a Hunley away, it's easier to do now. It doesn't seem there was a time when everybody was up in arms about we can't give Hunleys away. They won't accept them. Well, that still might be true in some programs, but I think Kirby Smith gave 8 away, maybe. Now some of them, because I can't find sponsors in Florida, if a and this happened, I think, 3 times. If a ROTC unit in the state of Florida has no SCV camp near them, we try to find a sponsor near the camp. If we can't find a sponsor, because we want every cadet that's earned that medal to get that medal, we would just mail the medal along with the certificate to the ROTC unit, and they would present the medal because it wasn't near enough to us to travel. Some of these places were 3 or 4 hours one way. So that being said, it's easy to give away. That they're actually coming to us and requesting the medal. Please, can you send an individual to present the medal? So again, if you haven't given one away, you put a little effort into it. It really pays off. Like I said, it gets the SCV in a good light back in the schools. Maybe encourage someone or even that cadet who's earned that medal and deserves to be recognized. Maybe he'll pick up a book and read about the Hunley crew and inspire him to great things like that crew. Uh, our Flags Across Florida program continues to flourish. We have 4 official division-owned sites and 7 camp-owned lease sites. Sentinel camps continue to raise funds for site maintenance and repairs while establishing themselves as continual maintainers of flag sites. As 2 of our division sites are now 2 decades old, camps continue to solve maintenance issues with an emphasis on local camp solutions. We have Sentinel camps who, like Tampa and 1209 Jacksonville, several others that have flag sites, that have adopted those flag sites to take care of them, to maintain them. Uh, I get a lot of inquiries from other camps, not in our state, because of our flag, and they're like I tell them, there's more to a flag site than putting a stick in the ground, beating your chest, and saying, "Hey, look what we did." It's it's the longevity of that project. When everybody goes and the dedication is over and the flag's flying up, well, now the hard part really comes, which is maintaining the site. Because if the site is not maintained, it does not reflect on the honor that flagpole represents. So I'm encouraging, the camps we have that are central camps, hats off to them for the good job they do. And if you are a camp thinking about a flag site, remember, you're accepting a responsibility that is continual. It's a lifetime. After you're gone, somebody else has got to step up and maintain those flag sites. So how you do it is entirely up to you. But like I said, we maintaining a site is a full-time job. Just ask anybody that has one, you know. All right. During Confederate History Month, as per the request of Lieutenant Commander in Chief Tony Griffin, the Florida Division had 3 billboards advertising Confederate history placed on major highways. This action increased public awareness and established the Sons of Confederate Veterans as a premier organization of Southern heritage. I think I posted, I know I did. I posted on the division Facebook page the billboards, and I hope everybody had seen the pictures. Yeah, there's one. Uh, we did ours a little bit different than any of the other divisions, where underneath the Sons of Confederate Veterans, they actually had like some national website that if you go to, they would supposedly filter you down into recruitment to the state you're in. But it's just convoluted, some kind of too many links in that chain. And I told them I'm not putting that there because one, you're not paying for it. We are, so our name's going there. And I'll put our website there because again, we're paying for it, not them. So our name went on the billboard. That was the only change. Other than that, the design looked pretty good. I thought it did. Several camps and members have donated funds this year to support the National Confederate Museum. The Florida Division continues to urge membership to support the National Confederate Museum heritage programs in Elm Springs. I was just having that conversation with Sean. The museum has come a long way since the first time that I had seen it. I think, this is my own personal opinion. Perhaps in the beginning, they had a good idea, but didn't know how to breathe life into it to make it what it is today. But it seems like it hung in there long enough to find its direction, and it seems like it's an outstanding museum. I've been to it several times, and every time I go, it seems to look better when they show the photographs of it. So, hats off to National and the National Museum. We're still in the business of marking Confederate graves in the free state of Florida. The Veterans Administration is still providing headstones when proof of service and proof of burial are provided. We are the next of kin. The Florida Division camps and the SCV Mechanized Cavalry continue to install many Confederate headstones throughout Florida. CERT training has been conducted throughout the division, and it's been stressed as the approved method for cleaning headstones and monuments. Most camps have hosted a CERT training event. If you haven't had a CERT training event, that's another event that kind of, if you're looking for things for your membership to get involved in, if you turn that into a really good activity, I wouldn't turn it into a hard work day. I'd turn it into just like, come listen, see how we clean headstones. Let's accomplish it. It can be a really good event that a camp can, uh, breathe some fellowship and some Southern pride into their camp, going out to a cemetery and taking care of maintaining, straightening, cleaning Confederate headstones. So, okay. Again, most camps have hosted a CERT training events, and we continue to train others. We've also taken the opportunity to work with other established organizations in the restoration of veteran cemeteries, proving our commitment to leave no American veteran's grave unmarked. Now, when I say that, certainly Confederate graves are our number one priority that's heartfelt. But that being said, like we had an opportunity in Jacksonville, a black church was having some issues in a cemetery that belonged to them, older cemetery, and our camp and Rick, there's Rick right there.
Yep.
Yep.
We had the opportunity to work with this black church and put 6 headstones down for black veterans from the where are they, Rick? From the Civil War or the war between the states, and World War One. Isn't that where the veterans are in the Black Cemetery, Rick?
Yeah, there were six of them that were U.S. colored troops, and one was World War One.
Yeah, and he was a black individual. They're really nice. These people have been, working with them has been really good. Uh, they're trying to do a restoration project there, and they've involved some other organizations,
That
which
put a drag on it.
has put a drag on it. Perhaps there are too many chefs and not enough cooks right now. But that being said, we did all the work and we got the headstones. We're ready. If they would draw a line in the sand, we'd certainly come through and fulfill that obligation. Like I said, we don't want to have any, certainly take care of the Confederates, make sure every Confederate grave is marked, it's unmarked. But if there's an American veteran there, no matter, it doesn't matter. If he's an American veteran, then and we can provide him a headstone and he will not be forgotten, we will do that. And that's what we do. So uh last year, well, this is an ongoing project. The Kirby Smith Camp 1209 obtained the Florida Soldiers Monument, which was erected in 1898 and was taken down from Hemming Park in Jacksonville. The monument consisted of a 10-foot Confederate soldier weighing 1,500 pounds and over 200,000 pounds of granite. The reestablishment of the monument is a Florida Division Heritage Project completed in 2025. We did complete, as far as putting it together, it's complete. The plaques are up, everything's clean. We have one final thing to do, which is to pressure wash it from the top down to the ground, and it's completed. The fence is up. We have a couple of other items. We want to put a signage on a building there which faces the highway so that we get the most bang out of the buck for the park and the monument. And after that, for all intents and purposes, the monument is up and we are going to turn that in for the division, the Florida Division Heritage Project. And again, like I said, we completed in 2025 on time and under budget. And this project was submitted for the 2025 Dr. James B. Butler Historic Award. It's the Historic Project Award. Uh, Again, because we had several camps that's come out there and, it's been a division project. Several camps have helped out there, been out there. And like I said, it's been a division project and we put it in for the award. And if anything's just, then we should win that award. I look forward to winning that award. Um, our division is growing. The Florida division has recharted Camp 2080, which I believe Sean brought up is going to happen Saturday, correct, Sean?
Yep. Yeah, this Saturday at 5 p.m.
Do you know anything about the individual that camp is named after?
A guy in my brigade, it is his ancestor, Cecil Rollison's ancestor. Other than that, I don't know much about him. I'll be
Okay.
honest.
Well, when you do find out, let me know.
Yes, sir.
The Florida Division website notification system is functioning very successfully. Potential members who are contacted within 12 hours or less. When they put an inquiry in for membership information, again, within 12 hours, we reach out to them, trying to provide information about us and to get information on them and to direct them to the camp that they are near. The Florida Division has its own system and genealogist, which would be Rick, that potential members can reach out to on our division website. And I believe that we have an enrollment about 30% of those who have requested membership information. So what that's saying, if 10 people reach out to the division website, we're running about 30% of them actually join it, which is, it sounds a little low, but it's actually pretty good. I mean, you get everybody can click a button and go send me some information. But like I said, out of that 10, you'll have 3 that'll apply and be directed to a camp in an area
I
that
got
they.
it. Yeah, I got an answer for you. You were
What?
you were asking about the new camp.
Yeah.
I don't know if you see
Seven
that.
Florida Company. 7 Florida
Yep.
Company B. I was just wondering, did he survive the war, or I guess somebody will inform us of that.
Well, yep.
The last part of this is kind of a closing to say that the executive board's creativity factor is a critical factor in this leadership process. It reflects collective ability to envision and navigate the future growth of the organization. By aligning our division objectives with the interests of our members, we cultivate an environment that fosters collaboration, innovation, and responsiveness. This alignment is essential for maintaining a dynamic and engaged membership, ensuring that we maintain, adapt to evolving needs, and that leadership and membership has a shared vision for success. Leadership will continue to nurture an environment of creative thought and proactive engagement that is vital for our ongoing effectiveness and organization's longevity. So that is basically skimmed over for the book of reports that'll be at National. You'll probably, for those that heard this, you'll probably hear it again at the division reunion, because I'm sure that there'll be some individuals that won't be privy to this podcast. So we'll repeat it again. Any questions out there so far? Sean, you got any questions? Rick,
I don't.
you good?
I just had a comment from Lieutenant Commander Mark Bass. Just reminding everybody about their Chattahoochee Memorial Service, May the 24th. I got you, Mark.
Good deal.
We also have our AOT commander in the house.
Oh, okay. That's great. Okay, we're gonna move on to something else. You ready, Sean?
Fire away.
All right. For those who got the Confederate Veteran, which is not in front of me now, but if you go to the Confederate Veteran and you look on the back page of the Confederate Veteran, there's some kind of challenge thrown out about Oakwood Cemetery in Richmond, Virginia. For those that haven't been to Oakwood, it's a huge cemetery. In that cemetery, any Confederate that was anybody in Virginia, especially Richmond at the time, is buried in that cemetery. That would be, Jefferson Davis. They dug him up and moved
There
him up.
or Hollywood. There's actually 2, Calvin. There's there or Hollywood.
Near Hollywood, but they're right near each other.
Yeah.
And at the Oakwood Cemetery, the challenge, and I called the Florida Division commander, and I talked to the committee guy. And do what?
The Virginia.
Virginia Division. What did I say?
You're the Florida.
Oh, okay. Well, the Florida Division commander called Virginia. Yeah, calls it. And one, I said, hey, listen, I don't know about your challenging in the back of the magazine. I thought that was kind of uncalled for. I said, you could just simply pick up the phone and have a discussion, and I could start talking to people and make something happen. But, and I told them, do the math. They charge $450 for a headstone, and to, I guess, have it made, and they've taken it on themselves as their project to put it down in Oakwood Cemetery. Now, if you've ever been to Oakwood Cemetery, it's a cemetery that individuals from several hospitals that were located in Richmond at the time would send their dead to be buried. Now, they tried to keep good records as well as they could, and the records are decent. They're not great, but they're decent, and you can put them together, because after discussions with Rick actually went through it and cleaned up a lot of the Confederate dead. But I think, didn't they say there was like 350, Rick?
Yeah, they said there's 350, which if you
With
added
200,
the
right?
total was the total expenditure would have been $157,500 for what they.
Yeah. Yeah, they challenge us to give them $157,000 basically, and I tell them, well, that's not quite possible. But what I've done is I've put out on our Facebook page and encouraging camps to adopt one of the soldiers at Oakwood. Again, the reason that the Veterans Administration will not provide headstones is this particular cemetery is laid out in a grid, and I believe they're posts are in the ground with a number on them. And you take
Correct.
a legend, they have a legend where they kept the records and said, like A1 is John Doe, A2 is Rick Doe, and so forth and so on. And when they do that, then the Veterans Administration considers that as a marked grave. So they will not provide the headstone, an upright headstone. And it even gets weirder than that.
Yeah.
After a lengthy discussion with them, there's actually, believe it or not, at the time, the dead was coming in at such a rate that they dug a long trench and actually buried in like a cheap coffin, but they actually would bury one on top of the other. Like put one coffin down and put the other on top of it, and then spread the dirt on top. Now, in those particular cases, again, they're marked. If you have the legend, it tells you where, who's buried there. But in their identification method, they're going to put an upright, and then they're going to put a flat stone in front of it to recognize the two individuals, either on the upright or the flat, that are buried stacked in that cemetery. But nevertheless, I told them that I would encourage each camp to maybe adopt and raise the $450 for a headstone. I took that plan back to 1209, and 1209 said, yeah, okay, we're going to buy a headstone, $450, but we would like for that individual to be from in the Jacksonville area. Well, Rick came up with what, 6 here? I'm looking
Yeah.
at 6. 6, yeah. And we're going to pick an individual out of this list and send them the money. A couple of these guys in here, like I said, the typical, and Rick's cleaning this list up. It's Simon Burnside, died 6/13/64. Dead body brought from York River Cars to General Hospital number 9. So he was dead when they took him off the rail car. We got the individual I think we're going to get is James David Clemens. He was in the 2nd Florida Battalion, Company A, enlisted at Broward's Neck, which, believe it or not, Rick knew where it was. He said he played there as a kid, right, Rick, or something?
Yep, I did.
And he died 9/24/64 at Howard's Grove Hospital. Mortal wound to the foot on 8/26/64. I don't know how you die of a mortal, I guess, unless they, like I said, we had a discussion about it. Best we could figure out, wounded in the foot, maybe amputated his foot, and either disease, gangrene set in. So that individual died. And again, he enlisted in Jacksonville, so that's probably the guy we'll. The other individuals there, the majority of them, were wounded, mortally wounded, or wounded in the leg, and they end up at this hospital, and they die in the hospital in Richmond, and then they end up in Oakwood Cemetery. So,
Did we lose Calvin?
It kind of froze up there.
Yeah, I thought it was just me again.
Are you there? Hello? Can you hear
I
me?
can. Yeah. Now I can.
We're we're back. So again, Rick's going to clean that list up the best he can, and uh, that was that enlisted near your vicinity. I would encourage you to do it. It's $450. I know we'll never get 100 or whatever. They
Yeah.
won't.
There's 300, the list they sent me, it's got like 365 individuals on it. And as of right now, 293 I've been able to verify as Florida soldiers. And I've been able to identify where they enlisted at. So, and what they died from.
Rick, you there?
Yeah.
I'm the only one.
Can you hear me, Sean?
Rick, you've been fine the whole time. Cal, we lose Calvin every now
Hey,
and then.
Sean. Yeah.
Um, six of the 293, 62 died of wounds sustained in battle. 231 died
Adopt
of
one of
disease.
these soldiers. Here he's back.
So there's 72 names that I still need to work on that have not been verified. Some of them just have initials, so they'll probably never be verified. Some of the names just aren't even in the biographical rosters. And some of them actually that they have on the list, they're in the biographical rosters, but it says they survived the war. And it's got them in the rosters as coming home and doing other stuff later after the war. So, so there's some things that have to be verified and cleaned up, but we'll still work on them. My goal is that by reunion, to have this list totally typed out and fleshed out. Some of the enlistment places, like Camp Scott, I need to figure out where Camp Scott was at, so that if there's a camp near there, they'll know, they can identify that it's something. Or where Burnt Mill, where Burnt Mill is, that somebody signed up at.
Rick, after that list you're talking about right now, where they mustered in at,
Yeah,
or what part of Florida that they are from, are you going to have that list by reunion, or
that's oh
okay? Now, after the reunion, are you able to post part of that where they're at on the division members only? Because it may encourage camps to sponsor them if they mustered in by an area that a camp is located.
we can definitely probably do that. We'll see what I can do as far as getting that up, but yeah, that's my goal, is to get it so that people have access to it, so that, because it's nicer to be able to pick somebody who's from your area. I mean,
Yeah,
I know that would, most people would, I would think, would want to do that. So
encourage more people. Yeah,
yeah, so at least if they signed up from your area. Yeah.
Hopefully they'll be back here in a second. It seems like they'll flash up. You guys back now?
We're here. You're the one
we,
disappearing and coming back.
yeah,
Oh, I'm the guy.
yep.
Really?
It's
It
your
looked like
turn
I was the
tonight.
only guy there. Okay. So I guess all right. So Rick will have the list, and he'll provide the list. We'll publish the list. He'll also send the list back to the Hollywood Cemetery Committee in hopes that they'll clean their list up.
Yeah, my goal is
In
to
talking
back to them too.
Yeah, in talking with them, if your camp picks a soldier, you send them the $450. They have the headstone made, and they install the headstone. They're installing these headstones like every 3 weeks. They get together as a camp project. Once they install the headstone, they take a picture of it and I asked them this, and they said they take a picture of it and send that photograph back to, or email it to the individual or camp that sponsored that headstone. So you do see your headstone at the end. The process seems to be somewhat lengthy. I think the guy told me a couple of months to 3 months, maybe at the most, for turnaround on the headstones. Uh, but that's from beginning to end. And probably, like I said, they're not every weekend putting in headstones. It looked to me, listen to them talk, they get like 20 of them and go out there and put 20 when they get 20 done. I don't know if that was the number, but it seems like they get a pile of them before they go back out there and do that. So, anything else, Rick, you want to talk about on the Oakwood?
No.
All
Not
right.
unless anybody's got questions.
Yeah, is there any questions out there, Sean? You see any questions on Oakwood?
Other just comments that from Annette Lindsay, the Florida OCR will be adopting one in various other camps.
Okay, good. I look forward to that. They're you know, uh, that would be excellent. More people, more involvement. That's good.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, uh, something I kind of skipped over and I should have brought back. Rick, did you send out the division newsletter? Correct.
I did.
Okay. Gerald Bell does that newsletter for us. He collects stuff all year round, gathers it from different sites, and people send him stuff. I would encourage, if you haven't seen it, you know, I think Rick sent the email blast to all the executive boards and the officers, correct, Rick?
Yes.
Yep.
So some individual has that newsletter.
Every camp command, I sent it to all the camp commanders.
So they should pass it down. Do we know if it was posted on the Facebook page?
No, I didn't do that.
Okay, we might do that and list it there. But Gerald Bell continues to organize that. He's done a great job. Uh, I want to encourage camps, if you do things, take pictures, do a write up, and send it to Gerald, and he'll put it in the newsletter. You guys should be recognized for the effort that you're doing on the projects that you are doing. Also, I encourage you as a camp, in the back of the Confederate Veterans where camps are listed, I suggest you take pictures, do a decent write up so that you know what the photograph is about. Send it to the Confederate veteran so that you can have your camp recognized in the back of the veteran. I would hope that all camps are at one time or another published in the Confederate veteran for the items and projects they do, to be recognized for their efforts, because we're doing good jobs out there. We just need to let people know that we're doing a good job. Looks good for you, looks good for the camp, looks good for the Florida division. So just don't do it and walk away. Take a few pictures, do a write up, get it in the division newsletter, and get it in the Confederate veteran. All right, Rick, you got anything? I'm getting
No.
right down to the side. How about that, Sean? We got a lot of information there.
Actually, we just got a question came in.
Okay.
I don't know if you two can
Yes.
see it or not.
I
The
can't.
answer would be yes. Yeah, Kirby Smith, at one time, we had members in the Netherlands, in Spain, Germany. The European camps that you see, the one in Germany and John Polo, for those who in the mechanized cavalry remember John Polo. They were all in 1209, and the individual that was from Germany actually started the European camp, and he was originally in 1209. So to answer your question, yeah, we have individuals that are in were in 1209 and moved to another state, and for one reason or the other wanted to have their membership remain in 1209, whether they wanted to be a part of 1209 for a reason. and of course getting the newsletter and stuff, and they just like being part of that camp. So to answer your question, 100%, if you're anywhere, even if you're out of the country, you can join a camp as long as you have a Confederate ancestor and in good standing and voted into the camp. Then yeah,
Yeah,
answer would
because
be yes.
yeah, because I got a member of my camp that's a charter member, and he lives in Kentucky.
Yeah.
He's a direct descendant of Lieutenant Bogus.
Cool. So, any more questions there, Sean?
Many things. Hey, Kim, good to see you.
It's
Oh,
Kim.
here we go.
That's the a division
Kim Colors.
chaplain.
No, Kim Colors. He was a member of Jim Odell's camp.
And Ronnie's asking about there is going to be a dedication. That's not the Hemming Monument. That's the wrong name for it. It's the Florida Soldiers, Florida Confederate Soldiers Monument. That was the name that they gave it in 1898. The Hemming tag on it, and maybe sometime I'll come back on the show and tell you the whole history about that monument. Charles Hemming paid for it, and because he paid for it for some reason, and it was not at the time they put it up. It was later, sometime in the, I guess, best I can figure, 50s, 60s, maybe. Uh, it was designated as the Hemming Monument because he paid for it. But nevertheless, we will do a dedication. It's going to be a big deal thing. I just need to finish it. As far as the cleaning will be done, and after that, we're going to plan the dedication, which it's in the planning stages right now. It'll be done this year. Uh, July is coming, and it would not be a good time to be standing out in that field in July, 100-degree weather. I'm just saying, there's not much shade out there. So
Yep.
we might could. In my thinking, it'll probably be when the temperature starts changing a little bit, and that we can actually camp out there, be cooler weather. Uh,
Cool.
so it's going to be you know, it's going to be a big deal, organized thing. We got plenty of room out there. We can throw up a Confederate camp out there, which will be right beside the interstate. There's of course there's a fence between us and them and distance, but uh, everybody going down that interstate, which are many, hundreds of thousands. I'm not sure how many go down that highway, but quite a bit. They'll all see a big happening there at that time.
I have a couple questions for Rick. Rick, are you? Is it? Do you still need them, or are you done on division awards?
Done.
Okay. I know you were asking for them for a while, so wanted to
Yeah.
double check.
Yep. No,
Uh,
those due by the first.
yep. The other question is uh, adjutant's reports. When are they due?
Uh, those need to start drifting in, but according to the form, um, they want your numbers by the end of what your numbers would be at the end of June. So basically about the middle of June, you need to start really firming them up and sending them to me because really your numbers aren't going to change very much. So because by the end, that's when I need to start putting them together so that I can get them to national. So in the next couple of weeks, I'll start sending out reminders. But middle of June is really whenever I'll start harping on it a lot. After division, after our division reunion is when I'll really start hammering people to get them in.
And for you new adjutants, if you don't understand what Rick is talking about, you can poke me. You can poke Rick, and we'll talk you through on how to fill that out.
Yep. And if you don't have and if you're a new adjutant and you don't have the handbook, let me know. I can get you the adjutant's handbook for the division, and that has all that information in it, plus a whole lot more.
Cool. Ready. Yes, Mark. Mark brought up a good question. Dues.
Dues.
Yeah.
I know,
Uh,
I know
the,
that we'll put we talked about that today. Our dues renewal notice will go in next month's newsletter. So that's when we start collecting.
yep. Well, when's the final date that dues have to be in by?
Rick, you know that?
Uh, yeah, August 30th is the drop dead date. They're actually due July 31st. They're due July 31st. But then National gives you a 1 month grace period. But the due date is July 31st.
Okay.
I know dues collecting is one of the best aspects of being a camp officer.
Yeah.
Adjutant any,
Oh,
you know,
yeah. I love it. I love it. I look forward to it every year.
every
Yep.
year, every year, man. You know, um, if somebody knows a good and easy remedy for that, let me know. We've been working on it for years. We got a set procedure with us. It's kind of waves. We do the newsletter because we don't, because the newsletter goes out to all the memberships, and the members that are, you know, conscientious and recognize how difficult that process is, immediately send their dues in. So you have your initial wave, which is, the heavy wave in. After that, we do a letter which goes out to individuals. Now, I'm a dollars and cents guy. I'm a budget guy, and it's like now you start sending a lot of letters to a lot of individuals to send their dues in. It gets to be quite expensive. So we use the newsletter we have to get that renewal out. So we usually continue to run that and continue to remind membership to turn in their dues. Then we do the letter, and then after that, individuals will be called on the phone. And unfortunately, when you do that, sometimes you don't know what you're getting into. Sometimes, you'll call and that individual has passed away. But then again, you give your condolences and, get that individual's name, and then you turn it in to last call so that the family gets the certificate, recognizing that individual's commitment to the Sons of Confederate Veterans. So, I mean, you got like any other camp of a significant size, you have members. I have members that have been members for a long time, yet I have never met them. The individual a while back that I posted on the division website had been a member of Kirby Smith for, a significant period of time, yet I had never seen him. And, but he sent his dues in every year. When he passed away, of course, his brother, let us know that he had passed away and sent me photographs. This individual was a police officer, showed him as as a reenactor, then an older reenactor, and actually in his house, with battle flag stuff everywhere. So he was a committed son of the South. And I regret not, personally knowing that individual. And the reason he wasn't active and stuff was, of course, because of his health and age, but yet he still was committed to the cause to the end. So I it's unfortunate, and I regret I never shook that man's hand, but I was proud to have him as a member of 1209.
Yep.
How we doing,
Wow.
Sean?
You want to talk about your saber? Because we
Oh,
still
it's
got
good.
5 minutes.
It's Confederate corner now. Okay, we've done everything division level. I hope nobody has any questions. If you do, if you have any individual questions for me, you can reach out to me. Of course, I'm easy to find, or Rick if you have a admin issue that you need some assistance with. So we'll move to Confederate corner. This particular item we have today is Robert D. Hart's Confederate sword. It's a Jacob sword. It was made by a sword maker who was out of Mississippi, who made swords, Confederate swords. He made for several sword companies. His name was Jacob Frazier, and he actually made this sword. And what's unique about the sword, which you can't see there, and I'm trying to hold it up, it's actually engraved with Robert D. Hart Marengo Guards. It says it's engraved on the sword. Uh, this particular sword, a collector, a high-end collector that I knew, which, he had really good stuff, called me up and goes, "Hey, Calvin, do you have an ancestor, Robert D. Hart?" Which uh, Robert was a common name, but I told him, I said, and he told me the Marengo Guards, which was an Alabama unit, and I told him, well, it wasn't a direct ancestor, but he certainly would be part of the Hart lineage, coming from John Hart. So I actually said, yeah, I want that sword. So I purchased the sword. While doing research, the sword had not gotten to me yet. There's a Civil War shop in Gettysburg called Drummer Boy, for those that went. They actually advertised a officers commission paper signed by the governor of Alabama, and they were selling it for the collectability of the governor's signature. But they happened to mention the individual that was on the commission, which just happened to be Robert D. Hart of the Marengo Guards. We there still?
Yep.
Yeah, you're fine.
So uh, I had them send that to me, the Confederate commission and the sword. And the sword and the commission got to my house all on the same day. They hadn't been together in probably 150 years. And it was kind of significant to me how things work out. It's
Yeah.
strange. But Robert D. Hart was with the Marengo Guards out of Alabama. They served a little bit of everywhere. They joined the 43rd Alabama Infantry. They went through Tennessee. Ended up this individual, uh, Robert D. Hart, worked his way from captain to major and ended up in Petersburg during the siege of Petersburg. Sometime during the siege of Petersburg, uh, Robert D. Hart had a medical discharge for tuberculosis, is what it said on his discharge. And he left from Petersburg to go back home to Alabama. Robert D. Hart never made it back to Alabama. He never made it home. Chances are he passed away maybe somewhere between there and his home, probably buried in an unmarked grave somewhere, because there is no registration for a grave of Robert D. Hart. So where he's buried, I do not know. How the sword survived and his commission, which is right here, I do not know. But they still remain today as a testament to that individual's bravery and service to the Confederate States of America. And I'm proud to be the owner of Robert D. Hart's sword. And there it
Cool.
is.
You got to bring that with you to a reunion so we could
I don't,
do a better look at it.
well, you want an honest answer, Sean? Honest answer would be, I'm going to put the protectors back on, put it back in the gun, and it's going back in the safe where it has been.
I
So
don't
to
blame
answer
you
your
there.
question, probably not. You maybe next time, maybe next time I show up, we'll do another show and tell Confederate Corner or something.
Yeah.
Or you guys can have something to bring. I'm most entertained by the stuff that shows up. I know one time as a camp member, I'm a collector of items, and an individual at one camp meeting stood up, which I did not know. The guy says, "Hey, the next camp meeting, I want to do Confederate postage stamps." To which I was thinking in my head, that is going to be the most boringest thing, stamps. But lo and behold, his passion and the stamps themselves were such a good topic. I mean, it was a great talk that I wasn't expecting, and I learned a lot. And you know what? Calvin's even got a few of the stamps around here somewhere. I wouldn't call myself a stamp collector, but I do have some Confederate stamps around here because I thought it was an interesting item. So um, I guess the lesson is there. Listen to what people want to bring to the meeting, and you can find speakers who speak about their passions. So
Yeah.
just give them a chance.
Yep. Mark,
All right.
that would
Rick, you
be
there
site.
still?
Yep.
Yep.
Did we lose Sean? Is he there?
No, we're
No,
here.
I'm here. Yeah,
All
we're
right.
here.
Well, that's all I
Mark
got, buddy. We're a little overtime.
Mark Best, that would be interesting to see
Sean,
him
you
cut the
there?
division. Yeah, I'm here. You there?
Rick,
Ready?
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Well, we're
Yeah.
going to sign off for Sean.
Yep.
No, we're good.
We're good.
Sean's
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all I got. That seems to be it. We're 3 minutes overtime. Sean,
That's
you
all
want to
right.
call it?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Commander Hart and Division Adjutant Rick Roberts, for joining us tonight. A lot of good info, and looking forward to the reunion in Ocala in the next few weeks. Till next Wednesday, guys. Stay Southern, stay out of trouble, and may God bless you in your adventures this week. Till next Wednesday, have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.
My name is Nelson W. Winbush. I'm a member of the Jacob Sumner Camp 1516 Sons of Confederate Veterans. My reason for joining the Sons of Confederate Veterans after the NAACP declared they would destroy and remove everything Confederate in 1990, I decided that I would do all I could to make sure that people understood what the Confederacy stood for.